So here is our library homepage. You will find some great resources and information about the library. First off, our announcement section will house upcoming events that the library will hold, as well as new databases and resources that we've added to our collection. If you keep scrolling down, you'll find a link to reserve a webcam or a study room. Next to that, you'll find a link to meet with a library staff member to schedule a one-on-one appointment, either in person or virtually. Beneath that, we have our contact information, and under that, we have our hours of operation. For today's workshop, we want to focus on English 1101 databases and resources. To get to the relevant guide that will assist you with your English 1101 research, you'll want to click on either the Research tab located on the top right or the LibGuides and Databases A to Z tab. Both will take you to the same page. On this page, you will find all of our databases in alphabetical order listed from the very top to the very bottom. And in this list, you will find databases relevant to different topics, subjects, and programs that GTC offers. On the left-hand side of this page, you will find our research guides, which are guides that have been created by library staff members that house specific databases and information related to different subjects, topics, and programs that GTC offers. For today's workshop, we will want to scroll down until we find the English 1101 Research Guide. So here is the English 1101 Research Guide. As you can see, there are various tabs located on the top of this page, each of which I will cover during this workshop. To begin, on the LibGuide homepage, we have what it really means to conduct academic research and how to be research smart. So the ultimate goal when conducting academic research is to find, evaluate, and use information. And in order to do so, we have to be able to identify our research and information needs, search library databases and other credible sources, evaluate those sources, and cite and document sources. Next to that, we have our research tips. Now, I will not be going into all of these tips today, but I do want to cover a few of these. The first one, and I believe the most important research tip, is to read your assignment. It is very important that you understand your assignment from top to bottom, and if you have any issues with the assignment instructions or your assignment objective, be sure to ask your instructor or library staff member to help you clarify any confusion you may have. Beneath that, another research tip I like to tell students about is to perform a preliminary search before settling on a topic. For example, if you are assigned a research paper or an argumentative paper that allows you to select a topic of your choice, it's important to search that topic in various library databases first before deciding to go through with that topic for your research paper. Now, the reason for this is because some topics will yield a great number of results and others not so much. So it's important that we have enough sources to perform research off of in order to support our argument or our paper for our English 1101 assignment. And lastly, citing as you go. Now, the great thing about library databases is that each source will auto-generate the citation that you need, and for this course, it will be the MLA citation on the source page. For example, if you find a source in a library database, you will also find the citation as well in the MLA format. So you will be able to grab that citation and paste it on a separate document as you perform your research. And this is a great practice because some sources may appear one day, 1 week, 1 month, but you may not be able to find it the following day, week, or month. So it's important to grab a copy of that citation while you're on the source page and pasting it on a separate document or on your Works Cited page. Okay, moving on to tab number 2, choosing a topic. Now, there is this video of Jenny, who is a student, and she is assigned a research project. Now, when she's assigned the research project, she goes ahead and selects bridezillas as her research topic. But when she performs a preliminary search, she finds that there's not a lot of research or information about bridezillas. So what she ends up doing is broadening her search to reality TV. But when she performs this search in the library database, she finds that she is now drowning in a sea of results. Ultimately, what Jenny does is she finds a happy medium between bridezillas and reality TV, which turns out to be wedding based reality TV shows. Now, when she searches wedding based reality TV shows in a library database, she finds a great number of results, enough for her to perform research off of, but not too many results for her to become overwhelmed. So, Jenny's situation is something that you most likely will encounter as well. That is why, going back to the research tip I mentioned previously, it is always good to perform a preliminary search to see what kind of information is out there for a specific topic. Moving on to tab number 3. This is a little brainstorming activity. Now, if you had to write a research paper about this image of a Coca-Cola can, what would you write about? Well, some could write about the nutrition of Coca-Cola, maybe what are the ingredients and how it impacts a person's health. Some could write about the marketing strategy, why they selected the colors of red and white and this specific font. Or some may write about the history of Coca-Cola. Where was it founded? And how did that impact what it became today? These are all directions that you could take with your research assignment. It is always a good practice to look at your topic from multiple angles and see which direction you would like to take when writing your research paper. So, for today's workshop, let's say that I want to write about school uniforms. And specifically, I am writing an argumentative research paper. So, I am tasked with having to pick a side on the topic of school uniforms, whether I'm for or against school uniforms, and state reasons why I am either for or against. So, I've generated this very general thesis statement. From this thesis statement, you can see that I am taking the against side because my thesis statement reads schools should not require school uniforms because they limit individual expression and creativity. Now, once you generate your thesis statement, you can then pull keywords from it, which you will then use to perform a search in the library databases. The first keyword we can pull is school uniforms. So we can go ahead and we can type that below. You will always want to make sure that you include your overall topic as one of your keywords. From this thesis statement, we can see that I am focusing on the direction of individual expression and creativity, which will be my second and third keyword. Now, my second keyword, individual expression, I can shorten to just expression. And for my third keyword, creativity, I can shorten to just creative. A good tip when performing research in a library database is to try to simplify your keywords as much as possible. The database is like when you keep it straightforward and simple, and that usually yields the most relevant results for your information needs. Great. So now we have our 3 keywords, and we can go ahead and head into one of the library databases. I will hop on over to tab number 5 of the English 1101 Research Guide, and I will go ahead and select the Galileo link located under this What is Galileo box. You could also go to the top right and select Galileo, and that will take you to the Galileo homepage. If you have not used Galileo before, Galileo is a master database that houses over 200 smaller databases that cover a wide variety of different subjects and topics. Whenever you're performing academic research, either for this course or another course, I highly recommend that you always use Galileo. Now we have our bento search format, and we also have our classic search format. To show you what bento search looks like, I will go ahead and just type in my overall topic of school uniforms and hit search. So the bento format search will divide up sources based on their format. For example, we can see we have magazine sources listed under the magazine format section. We have scholarly articles, If we keep scrolling down, we will find sources that are encyclopedias, trade publications, eBooks, and much, much more. Now, for the purpose of today's workshop, I want to go ahead and use the classic search. Now, again, if you remember, we have our three keywords, which are school uniforms, expression, and creative. Now, once we select the classic search option, we can go ahead and add in our overall topic, school uniforms, our first keyword, and one additional keyword as well. Now, to add an additional keyword, it is very important that you incorporate and add the Boolean operator AND in all capital letters, and then add the next keyword, which it will be expression. Now, before I hit search, another little tip I'd like to share with you is if you have a keyword that is two or more words, for example, school uniforms is 2 words, we will enclose it with quotation marks. What that does is it tells the database that I would like you to search the word school and uniforms together as a unit. Now, if you don't incorporate quotation marks, then the database will pull up results that will only include the word school and only include the word uniforms. As you can see, expression does not need quotation marks because it is only one word. So now we can go ahead and we can hit search. So this is the classic search format in Galileo. As you can see at the top, you have the total number of sources, 10,489. But before we start clicking on different sources to see if they align with our research needs, we can also filter our results. As we scroll down on the left-hand side, we can go ahead and select 3 main filters. The first one is going to be full text. Now we want to select full text because we want to make sure that any of the sources that appear in our results list include the full text of the source, not just an abstract or not just a summary. Beneath that, we can also select the scholarly peer-reviewed journals. Now, if you're unsure what peer-reviewed means, it is an extensive process that takes usually around 6 to 12 months, and it involves subjecting an author's work to the scrutiny of other experts in the same field to make sure that their source that they are publishing is suitable for publication. It is also adding an extra layer of credibility to the sources that appear in the results list. And lastly, the publication date filter. For the topic of school uniforms, I will go back 10 years to 2013. Now, it is very important that you read your assignment instructions and you follow whatever parameters your instructor tells you to use for the publication date. Also, if you are researching a topic or a field that tends to evolve rather quickly, such as technology or healthcare, you would like to be much more strict with the publication date filter. All right, so we started off with over 10,000 results, and now we have a little under 1,000. From here, we can start scrolling through the results list and seeing if any of these sources align with our research needs. Now, a good way to tell, or a first indication of whether or not a source will align with your research needs, is to try to look for your keywords in bold, either in the title, the description, or the subjects area. As you can see, result number 1 has school uniforms in bold, but it doesn't include the word expression in bold. So we can continue to scroll down until we find something else. Tab number 2, we can check this one, and we find that we have our first keyword in our overall topic, school uniforms in bold. And if we go to the subject section, we also see the word expression, our second keyword in bold. So this is a good first indication that this source will align with our research needs. So we can go ahead and we can click on this source. This will then open up the source page, which will show you all of the metadata or information about the source, such as the authors, the publisher, the publication date, the publication year, and so on. Now, it is very important that you scroll down and you read the abstract or the summary of the source. The The summary will allow you to decide whether or not this source aligns with your research needs. If it does, you can scroll back up and go into the full text of the source located on the top left. And if it doesn't, then we can go back to our results page and try to find another source. So let's say I read this abstract and I decide this source does align with my research needs. So what I will do next is go into the full text of the source located on this PDF full text link. When I select this link, it'll open up the full text of the source, and we will be able to read through this and pull information that can help support our argument that school uniforms get in the way of creativity and individual expression. So as we read through the source, let's say we find some information that we can use for our paper, and we decide, all right, so I find that this source aligns with my research needs. I find some great information in here that I can use to help support my argument. Now, before I just take information from this source and go ahead and use it in my paper, I will want to go back to the previous page, and I will want to email the source to myself by going to the right-hand side of the page. Underneath this tools section, you will find the email link, and this will allow me to keep a record of this source. So what you will want to do is type in your email address, but before you hit send, move over to the right-hand side, select this citation format option, select that drop-down box, and select MLA 9th edition, and then hit send. So not only will you receive a link to the full text of this source as an email in your inbox, but you will also receive the auto-generated MLA citation as well. Now, before leaving this page, I mentioned previously that it is very important to cite as you go. Now, in order to do so, we will go 2 spaces down and select the Cite button. Here, we will be shown all the different citation formats available for this source, but of course, for any English courses, we want to focus on the MLA 9th edition. Once we are here, we will go ahead and we will copy the citation starting from the author's last name to the very end. And then we will keep a record of this citation by opening up a new blank Microsoft Word document and going ahead and starting our Works Cited page. Now, to start off our Works Cited page, it is important that we title our page as Works Cited. We will then move it over to the center of the page. We will click after the word cited and hit enter. And then we will move the alignment back to the left. Next, we will right click and we will paste the citation. We will then highlight both the title and the citation and change the font to Times New Roman 12-point font, and then click out of the highlighted area. The next thing we need to do is highlight the citation or citations if you had more than one pasted here. We will then go up to the paragraph section, select the diagonal arrow at the bottom right corner, and in this box we will be able to change the indentation to hanging and the spacing beneath that to 0 for the before and after, as well as the line spacing to double. Now here is a properly formatted Works Cited page in MLA format. Going back to the research guide, I will then click out of Galileo, and we will move on to tab number 6. Now tab number 6 will house all of the relevant databases that relate to English 1101 research. So we went into Galileo. Next, we have Academic Search Complete. This database is very similar to Galileo in terms of the layout and the interface, but tailors more toward academic sources. So we can go ahead and type in our overall topic, school uniforms, use those quotation marks, and we will add our third keyword now, which will be the word creative. We will hit search, and we will find that we are met with 7 results. Now, we still want to make sure that we select those 3 filters that I mentioned previously, the full text, the peer-reviewed, and we don't even have to set the publication date filter because we are now met with just one source. Again, you want to look for your keywords in bold, either in the title or the subjects or the description field of the source. And as you can see, school uniforms is in bold in the title, as well as the word creative in the subject section. So this is a good first indication that this source will align with our research needs. Now again, just like in Galileo, we want to scroll down, read through the abstract, and see if the source really aligns with our paper. If it does, we will go ahead and hop on over to the PDF full text, read through the full text to see if we can find some relevant information we can use to support our argument. And on another note, PDF full text is great because it also includes the page numbers as well. So if you pull information from, let's say, this page 160, you will want to jot down that page number, which will then be used to create your MLA in-text citations. As we go back to the source list or the source page, as you can see, it looks exactly the same as Galileo, and on the tools section on the right side, you will find that email button to email this source to yourself, as well as the MLA citation, and the option to just go ahead and grab that citation. Of course, we want the MLA 9th edition, so we can go ahead and copy from the author's last name to the very end, right-click, copy, head on back over to our Works Cited page, right-click, and paste using this merge formatting paste option. As you can see, since we formatted the first citation, second citation, and any other citations we paste on this page will follow the same formatting. And this is Academic Search Complete. Heading back to the research guide, the next database I will talk about today is the Opposing Viewpoints database. Now, this database is great if you are writing an argumentative research paper. This database houses viewpoints, which are points that authors are making. They're either for a specific topic or against a specific topic. Now, you could go ahead and just type in your keywords, but I also suggest that you look into this Browse Issues section. In this page, you will find a list of controversial and highly debated topics, both in our country and around the world, in alphabetical order. So there is a good chance you will find your topic in this list, or if you're having trouble selecting a topic, this is a great resource to use. As we scroll down, we're going to look for school uniforms, and there it is. So we can go ahead and select school uniforms. And on this school uniforms page, we're going to be met with an overview. Now, if we select this read more, we are going to be given some more background information on the topic of school uniforms. If we keep scrolling down, we'll see a section that talks about the pros and cons of school uniform policies. If we keep scrolling down, we have our benefits of school uniforms, challenging the claims of school uniform policies, and a point that we could potentially talk about in our paper, uniform costs, as an extra point, or maybe a point that you would like to use for your paper. Now, if you find information in this source, you can go ahead and email the source to yourself, just like in Galileo, by going up to the top, selecting this paper airplane icon that says send to, selecting email, entering in your email address, and selecting send. You can also go ahead and grab the citation for the source by clicking on the Cite button and copying and pasting this citation into our Works Cited page. Going back to the previous page, if we continue to scroll down, we'll see that our sources are divided up based on the format. For example, I mentioned Viewpoints, which is a great resource to use. We have our viewpoints listed here, but we also have featured viewpoints. I suggest going into both of those and seeing what other people are saying about the topic of school uniforms and what points they use to either support school uniforms in schools or to be against school uniforms in schools. So we'll go ahead and select viewpoints, and you'll want to look for the titles that align with the side you are taking with your research project, as well as the direction you will be taking. For example, freedom of expression as well as creativity. So as you can see, there is a source here, school uniforms stifle freedom of expression. So that looks very promising. So we can go ahead and click on that. We can read this short source, and we can decide if we want to take information from this source. Again, always be sure to keep a record of this source by emailing it to yourself, as well as grabbing that citation while you're on this page. So that is a quick overview of Gale and Context Opposing Viewpoints. Again, this is a great database if you are writing an argumentative research paper or maybe even a compare and contrast paper. Going back to the next database, we have Points of View Reference Center, which is very, very similar to Opposing Viewpoints, the database we were just in. Again, you could go ahead and search for your topic, or you could scroll down and find another list, just like in Opposing Viewpoints, of very controversial, highly debated topics in our country and around the world. Now, because I'm looking for school uniforms, I will go down to the Schools and Education section. I will select More, and I will keep scrolling down until I find school uniforms. Once I select the topic of school uniforms, I will find that I will be met with an overall introduction and summary of the topic of school uniforms. There's a history section, school uniforms today, and this source will just provide you with some great background information. Just like in Galileo, we have the tools section on the right-hand side to help us email the source to ourselves and cite the source. But if we move over to the left-hand side, we will see this points of view link underneath the related information menu. If we select points of view, this is very similar to the viewpoints that we found in opposing viewpoints. We will see different points that authors make, where either they are for school uniforms or against school uniforms. Now, point number 3 is school uniforms are harmful to students. As you can see, school uniforms is in bold, but it doesn't mention creativity or freedom of expression. But because this talks about our overall topic and it takes our side on our research paper that we are against school uniforms, we can go ahead and click on this source and see what other information is housed. Now, as we scroll down, we will find the source listed here, as well as some talking points. And you can see from the first talking point that it states school uniforms are a violation of students' rights to free expression. So there we go. We know that this source will directly align with our research needs. And there is also the PDF full text version of the source, which will have those page numbers, which will help you perform those in-text citations. Now, before I click out of Points of View Reference Center, we're going to click on this icon to go back to the home page. Now, on the right-hand side, underneath Reference Shelf, we have our See All Research Guides link. If we click on this link, we will find very helpful guides that will walk us through each step of the research process. For example, if you're having issues with choosing a topic, there is a source that will be able to assist you with that. Also, writing a research paper, creating a bibliography. If we go to the next page, we will also find citing sources, writing a thesis statement, writing a conclusion, and much, much more. So this is a great resource to use if you are stuck at any point of the research process. So we will close this database. Next is Gale eBooks. I will not go into deeply to this database. This database is great if you're looking for sources in the ebook format or the electronic book format. You can go ahead and just type in your topic and search for ebooks in the results list. Next, we have Statista. This is a great database if you would like to support your argument or your research with numbers, data in the form of graphs, tables, charts, and more. So I can go ahead and just type in my overall topic, school uniforms. And I will be met with 50 results. So what you'll be able to do is scroll through the list, read the titles, and see if the set of data or statistics aligns with your research needs and can help support your argument. Now, this first source here, share of U.S. school children wearing uniforms from 2008 to 2018, may be good to incorporate in our paper just to provide our reader with some background information of how many school children were wearing uniforms from 2008 to 2018. As you can see, we're met with this bar graph here. Now, if you wanted to go ahead and use this image in your paper, you could download this image either as a PDF file, an XLS, a PNG, or PowerPoint. But let's say you're not too fond of this appearance of this set of statistics. What you can do is select this gear icon located on the top right and change the statistics to either a line graph or a table. Next to this set of statistics, you will also find information about this study, the release date, the region, the time period, the number of respondents, the age group, and much more. So this is a great database if you are looking to support your argument with numbers. And that is all of the databases I will cover today. I highly suggest that you go into multiple databases and not just one to find sources. Each database will house different information, which will allow you to pull information that will support your argument from multiple levels. Next, we have tab number 7, MLA Citations. If you get lost with creating a works cited page or including MLA and text citations in your paper, this tab will be able to assist you. If we scroll down, you're going to find video tutorials on how to create a works cited page in MLA format. Now, these videos will walk you through step by step from start to finish how to properly create and format your works cited page. As you can see, there's 3 videos listed here. The reason for that is because each video will cover a specific version of a software. For example, we have Microsoft Word desktop version. So that is the downloaded version of Microsoft Word on your computer. We have the MLA Works Cited Microsoft Word online video. So that is the online version of Microsoft Word. Also in your Office 365 account located in your dashboard. And you have the Google Docs option as well. Now, each of these will have different formats, will have different options, and the options will be located in different areas of the document. So be sure to select the appropriate video for your needs. If we keep scrolling down, we'll find an MLA Works Cited checklist. So it's important to alphabetize your citations by starting with the first letter of the citation. We have hanging indent, which we did previously, double spaced, which we also did, and we also changed our font as well. But if you have any questions with formatting an MLA Works Cited page or in-text citations, be sure to contact the library staff. Next to tab number 7 is evaluating your sources, tab number 8. Now, it's always important to perform the TRAP test. Now, what TRAP stands for is timeliness, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose or point of view. So when you find a source, it's always good to ask yourself questions. For example, for timeliness, when was the information published? Was it published 15 years ago? Was it published last year? That will ultimately impact how accurate the information is in a source that you find. Also, relevance. Does the information actually relate to your topic? Accuracy. Is the information accurate? Are there any spelling, grammar, or typographical errors? If there are, that is a good sign to let go of that source and find another source. Next, we have authority. Who is the creator or author of a source? What are their credentials? and how are they able to write about that specific topic. Lastly, the purpose or point of view. So it always helps to know what the purpose is of a source. Is it for informational reasons, to inform readers? Is it to teach readers, to sell, to entertain, to persuade? So these are all great questions to ask yourself when you are evaluating a source. Next, on tab number 9, we have our video modules. So if you'd like more information about the library homepage and our services, we have a video listed here. We also have information about our library catalog, how to cite sources, and performing the trap test. On the right-hand side, we have some great video tutorials on finding articles in Galileo, so performing a search just like we did today. If you forget any of the steps, this is a great resource to go to. And that concludes the English 1101 Library Workshop. If you have any questions after viewing this video, if you get stuck at any point during the research process and need assistance, please be sure to reach out to the library staff. Again, once you get to our library homepage, our contact information will be listed right near the bottom of the page. Thank you very much for joining me today on the English 1101 workshop. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact us. Thank you very much. Take care.